Bhagavatam Kirastubam Adarsanam Paramataram Karutubam
Oh, glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart from all the dust accumulated for years, and produces the fire of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is upon the rays of the benediction moon. It is light of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we're always anxious. The holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. These transcendental names are invested all the transcendental energies. There are not even part and parcels for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. I just chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind. He was so full and strong and sweet. One should be more tolerant than a tricky. Devoid of all sense of gospel speech. And should be ready for all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord honestly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want to causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Krishna, I am the eternal skeleton, yet somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death, and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, let my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name. When will my voice choke up? When will the hairs of my body stand on end at the resuscitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I have been in my life for years and more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like bottles of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know that I want to witness my Lord, and make sure that makes so beautiful and is roughly by his grace, or makes him broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is not really free to do anything and everything, for he is my words and the Lord unconditionally. Jai! Jai!
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Janapallava Girvardhari Gopi Janapallava Girvardhari Gopi Janapallava Girvardhari Jaya Gopi Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridvaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridvaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridvaradhari Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Sangaraj. Jai Shiva Sabaraj Ganesh. Stoja to Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Sarjika Prabhupada Ki Jai. Go pray, Melanie. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 70. Lord Krishna's daily activities, text 10. Go Vipra Devata Vritta Gurun Bhutani Sarvasha Namaskrit Yatma Sambhutir Mangalani Samasprishat Go Vipra Devata Vritta Gurun Bhutani Sarvasha Namaskrityatma Sambhuti.
Namaskrityatma Sambhuti.
Mangalani Samasprishat.
Mangalani Samasprishat.
Go Vipra Devata Vritta.
Go Vipra Devata Vritta.
Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha.
Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha.
Namaskrityatma Sambhuti.
Namaskrityatma Sambhuti.
Mangalani Samasprishat.
Mangalani Samasprishat.
Go Vipra Devata Vritta.
Go Vipra Devata Vritta.
Bhutani Sarvasha.
Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha.
Namaskrityatma Sambhuti.
Namaskrityatma Sambhuti.
Mangalani Samasprisha.
Mangalani Samasprishat.
Go Vipra Devata Vritta.
Go Vipra Devata Vritta.
Bhutani Sarvasha.
Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha.
Yatma Sambhuti.
Namaskrityatma Sambhuti.
Mangalani Samasprisha.
Mangalani Samasprishat. Go Vipra Devata Vritta. Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha. Namaskrityatma Sambhuti. Mangalani Samasprishat.
Vaishnavis.
Go Vipra Devata Vritta. Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha. Namaskrityatma Sambhuti. Mangalani Samasprishat. Go Vipra Devata Vritta. Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha. Namaskrityatma Sambhuti. Mangalani Samasprishat. Go Vipra Devata Vritta. Gurun Bhutani Sarvasaha. Namaskrityatma Sambhuti. Mangalani Samasprishat.
Go to the cows. Vipra. Brahmanas. Devata. Demigods. Vritta. Elders. Guru. And spiritual masters. Bhutani. To living beings. Sarvasha. All. Namaskritya. Offering obeisances. Atma. To his own. Sambhuti. Expanded manifestations. Mangalani. Auspicious things. Such as a brown cow. Samasprisha. He touched. Translation. Lord Krishna would offer obeisances to the cows, brahmanas, and demigods, his elders and spiritual masters, and all living beings, all of whom are expansions of his supreme personality. Then he would touch auspicious things. Text 11. He would decorate his body, the very ornament of human society, with his own special clothes and jewelry, and with divine flower garlands and ointments. Purport. Sridhar Swami points out that the Lord's own garments and ornaments include the Lord's well-known yellow garments, the Kaustubha gem, and so on. Om Agana Chimanandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militangena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are different realms, different regions of the material and spiritual world. We can see that there is so much variety in the material world. And indeed, we want varieties for our own enjoyment in our attempts to imitate Krishna. It is said in a material saying, variety is the spice of life. So people consider that their life is more opulent and successful the more varieties they have. The reality is, in material life, you cannot be satisfied with one thing, and you cannot be satisfied with many things. But the illusion is, I have this thing, so now I'm no longer enlivened by it. I'll get another thing, and then I'll be enlivened. So this is the nature of material lust. Two things you should keep in mind. And when we say material lust, we are referring to the material hankerings for all kinds of things. What are the two things to keep in mind? Insubstantial and insatiable. The result, the bang you get, is insubstantial. But you can't stop. This is the mystery of Maya. Shadowy substance. Not the real thing, just a shadow of the real thing. But shadows exist, but they're just not the substance. So the quest to fulfill material desires means you're signing up for insubstantiality. The substance that you need, the nourishment, the satisfaction that you need, the reality you need is never attained. But you can't stop pursuing the illusion. You would think, okay, I'm not satisfied. Okay, that's it. No more material endeavors. But that's not how Maya works. Yes, you may come to some temporary realization. Oh, how insubstantial, how insignificant. Like Prahlad Maharaj says, Yanmai tunani vinamedi sukham itujam. The material pleasures, the material indulgences of this world, they are, the so-called pleasure is insignificant. Sukham itujam. Just like consider, you're walking around the temple and a little insect, like a fly, lands on your shoulder. Does your whole life fall apart? No, you say insignificant. So that's what Prahlad means when he says Sukhamitucham. But we make a big thing, a big production out of fulfilling our material desires. And for that honor, we must work very hard. And only at the time of death you may get some realization. This was all foolish. I wasted my whole life. It wasn't worth it. Then it's too late. And those material desires that we have are carried over into the next life, and we get another material body. So what does Lord Rishabhdev say? Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. When you're mad, you pursue materialistic results. The pursuit comes from madness, not intelligence. We think, oh, I'm very expert. I have material goals, investment properties, career advancement. That is my all in all. But Lord Rishabhdev says this is madness. Of course, everything can be used in Krishna's service, but that's another thing. We're talking about the quest, the incurable quest for material satisfaction. Nunam pramata kudate karma, yet indriya pritya apranoti, because we consider the gratification of the senses to be so dear to us. Indriya prite, this is my beloved. What is the beloved? The contact between the material senses and the material sense objects. That's so dear to me. So what does Lord Rishabdev tell his sons? Nasadu manye. I don't think it's very intelligent that you engage in this process. Yata atmanoyam. Asannapi kleshada adadeha. I don't think it's very intelligent. I consider it stupid. Because by this process of indulgence, trying to fulfill your material desires, what happens? You get one body after another. And what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Evam yoveti chakva deham panarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. If you can understand this, the tattva, the truth about Krishna's appearance in this world and his activities, upon giving up this material body, you don't take another material body. You go to Krishna. Sometimes people think, okay, you don't get another material body and you just become the void. No. Mameti, Krishna said, you come to me. So there are different regions, different locales in the material world and the spiritual world. The material world has different lokas, different planetary systems. Just like on Earth. Why on Earth? Just in South Australia, there are different locales, different levels. Different grades of residences. Similarly, throughout the material world, there are different gradations of residences. The Earth, the Shastra tells us, is the middle planetary system, where there is some happiness and some distress, mixed happiness and distress. Lower planetary system means mainly distress. Upper planetary system, heavenly planets, means mainly happiness, material happiness. And then there's beyond the material world. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, you read about Lord Chaitanya explaining to Vasudeva. We talked last night about how Vasudeva had the desire to take upon himself all the sinful reactions of the conditioned souls in the universe. Let them go back to God and he would stay and suffer. How could someone think like that? We talked about Maharaj Ranti Deva. It's hard to understand the nature of such compassion, such depth of empathy. What's going on? What's the dynamic? The dynamic is that more than their own suffering, such exalted personalities feel the suffering of others. Now you would think, I've got enough problems. I'm going to take upon myself everyone else's problems? No way. I want relief from my problems. That's my number one concern. I want relief from my suffering. And here, Ranti Deva, and especially Vasudeva, they feel the suffering of others to be more painful than their own suffering. And therefore they say, stop the suffering of others. Now you may remember a crucial point from the history of Ranti Deva. When he was just left with water, remember? And the Chandala, the dog eater, asked, I'm so thirsty, please give me the water. Ranti Deva was on the verge of death, it seemed, trembling from hunger, but he gave the water away. And in the process of giving the water away, he said, actually now I feel no hunger, no thirst, no inconvenience at all. In other words, he's on a different level. You would think, Ranjadeva, you finished yourself. But he's reporting, in my giving to all living entities, I don't feel any bodily discomfort. So, Vasudeva Dutt had this desire to liberate, free from sinful reactions, and send to the spiritual world all living entities. Such a desire brought Lord Chaitanya to tears. And he explained to him that you don't have to take upon yourself the suffering of all living entities. Just by your desire that they be free from material life and go back to God, and it can happen. Just by your desire, because you are a pure devotee and Krishna fulfills the desires of his pure devotees. So we discussed yesterday how Lord Chaitanya said, the material existence is like a bag of mustard seeds. The bag is material nature. The mustard seeds are the planets. The mustard seeds are the universes. You know, you get a 25, how big is the bag that mustard seeds come in? 25 kilos, you see?
Just kg, half kg.
Half kg. How many mustard seeds are in a half kg? For your home, you can get half kg. But what about for the temple? No one knows? Huh?
I think 20 kg, 25 kg, big bags are also.
That's what I thought, 20, 25 kg. So if one mustard seed falls out of a bag, 25 kg bag of mustard seeds, what's it to you? So this is what Lord Chaitanya said to Vasudeva Dutt. What's it to Krishna if one universe just disappears? So insignificant to Krishna. If one whole universe empties out and all the living entities go back to God, the loss of that universe is nothing for Krishna. It's like the loss of a mustard seed out of a 25 kilo bag of mustard seeds. But then Lord Chaitanya said something even more surprising. What's that? He said, actually, if the whole material nature with all the material universes disappears, it's nothing for Krishna. Not just one universe, but all material existence, all the unlimited because you can't count them. All those universes disappear. It's nothing for Krishna. Because the real glories are the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, there are varieties. So there's Vaikuntha, and then there is the highest part of the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, the Krishna Loka planet. And on the Krishna Loka planet, there are different districts, different neighborhoods. There's Dwarka, there's Mathura, and there is Vrindavan. Even in Vaikuntha, there are different districts. Brihad Bhagavatamrita explains that higher than Vaikuntha is Ayodhya. That's the highest part of Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, the abode of Lord Ram. But beyond Ayodhya, in the topmost portion of the spiritual world, is Dwarka, and then Mathura Mandal, including Vrindavan. So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says a very interesting thing. He explains that the happiness, first of all, understand, wherever you are in the spiritual world, you think this is the best place for me. But when you make a comparative, objective analysis, there's this distinction between the different abodes, the different realms. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that higher than Vaikuntha in terms of happiness is Ayodhya. And higher than the happiness of Ayodhya is the happiness of Dwarka. And higher than the happiness of Dwarka is the happiness of the Madhura Mandal, particularly Vrindavan. And he explains that even the distress, the so-called distress in Vrindavan, stands on the head of the happiness of Dwarka and Ayodhya. What is this? How can the distress of Vrindavan stand on the head of the happiness of Dwarka and the happiness of Ayodhya? Because the distress, the so-called distress of Vrindavan is the most acute bliss. How can that be? You would think distress is distress. Anxiety is anxiety. But the anxiety of Mother Yashoda for Krishna has nothing to do with material anxiety. It is the greatest pleasure. Oh, what is Krishna, my little boy, doing now? Whose house is he breaking into now? Whose butter is he stealing? This is Satchidananda anxiety. And the distress that the gopis feel in separation from Krishna, that's the highest ecstasy. So much so that Krishna himself wants to taste. What's it like to feel separation from me? I can't do that. I can't understand it as Krishna, but I can experience it as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll come as my own devotee and experience what it's like to feel separation from Krishna. So what is the nature of this distress in Braj, felt by the eternal associates of the Lord? Sanatana Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatamrita explains that what happens if someone takes an ice cube and presses it against the skin of your arm? What do you feel? Oh. No. You feel stinging, like burning. But it's ice. How can you get a burning sensation from ice? The reality is, the ice is cold, but you feel it to be, to your ordinary perception, when the ice cube is first pressed to your skin, you feel it burning. So similarly to ordinary perception, the distress of the gopis in Vrindavan seems miserable, but actually it is the sweetest thing. Just like when an ice cube is pressed to your skin, it feels burning like fire, but actually it's cold. So to ordinary perception, the ice cube is giving you a burning sensation like fire. And similarly to ordinary perception, the separation from Krishna experienced by the residents of Vrindavan is painful, but actually it's the sweetest. Just like the ice cube is not burning, it's cold. But you say, immediately, if I ask you, what does the ice cube feel like? You'll say cold, but you're skipping over the fact that when it first touches, it's burning like fire. You forgot. So if we can't understand what happens when an ice cube touches our skin, the psychology of perception, can we ordinarily understand the separation of the Brijvasis from Krishna? You can't do it by material methods. It's very bewildering. So here we are in Dwarka, hearing about Krishna's daily activities. And you may think what he's doing sounds quite ordinary. He's reclining with his wife after sleeping in the night, and the roosters are crowing. Cackle-doodle-doo. And how do the wives react? Especially Vaidarvi, Queen Rukmini. What do? Who remembers? They curse the roosters. Because they know Krishna is staunch. He gets up in the Brahma Muhurta to do his morning program. Looks like we're having a morning program now. So Krishna has his morning program to show the example. In Dwarka, Krishna is very conscientious about Vedic rules and regulations. In Braj, not so much. Makanchora, stealing butter, dancing in the middle of the night while his mother thinks he's asleep. So, Krishna's 16,108 wives, because there are 16,108 palaces, one palace for each wife. Sometimes people say, who don't understand Krishna, Krishna must be, why does he have 16,108 wives? What is this? What kind of God is this? But our question is, because we understand Krishna's unlimited glories, what is our question? What is our point? Why does Krishna have only 16,108 wives? Why did he stop at 16,108? He could have unlimited. So Prabhupada would say, if you want to accuse Krishna of being lusty, through your material vision, you want to accuse him of being lusty, then at least be accurate with your accusation. Say he's unlimitedly lusty. Even according to your material vision, your material standards, you can't be unlimitedly materially lusty. So even from that mistaken vantage point, viewpoint, you're misunderstanding Krishna. Even if you think he's experiencing material lust, then you have to credit him, unlimitedly lusty. So even your accusation is wrong. On all accounts. Of course, Krishna has no material lust. He wants to satisfy his devotees. He's perfect and complete, Om Purnam. Now he's doing perfectly what the conditioned souls would love to do and be satisfied. But they cannot attain satisfaction separate from Krishna. So what is Krishna doing? He's reclining after the night with his wives, and the roosters crow, and especially Rukmini. And the other queens also, they curse the roosters. Oh no, Krishna's going to get up. We'll feel separation from him. He's going to do his morning program. Krishna's showing the example, as we read in Krishna book. No matter how comfortable you may be reclining with your beloved, got to get up. Any of you have any roosters behind your house? Now, how does Krishna wake up? No digital alarm clocks. No ultra iWatches or whatever. Garmin or Apple. How does Krishna wake up? In his garden, for each palace, 16,108 palaces, there are parijata trees, which give such wonderful fragrance. So the trees start to emanate this fragrance in the early morning, and the bees smell it, and the bees start buzzing. And when the bees start buzzing, then the birds start chirping. And so you have the fragrance of the parijata flowers, you have the sound of the bees humming, the sound of the birds chirping. This all together creates a symphony for waking Krishna up. Can that happen in your house? You have the fragrance of the parijata flowers, wakes up the bees, and the bees wake up the birds. of mature life is supposed to be reclining with their beloved in the morning hours. You can't imitate Krishna. You're laying there reclining and, get up, it's time to make some money. You're going to be late for work. People make the mistake of thinking Krishna's activities are mythological. Because how could it be that the Supreme Absolute Truth has all these activities? The tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, the Upanishads say. Krishna has nothing to do. So we say, well, what do you mean he has nothing to do? This whole chapter is describing Lord Krishna's daily activities. How can you say he has nothing to do? What do the Upanishads mean when they say natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate? They mean he has no material needs, no material wants, and no material activities. Therefore you can say he's got nothing to do. And we look at our own life and we're forced to do so many things out of desire and need. We feel incomplete, and therefore we look to material activities to satisfy us and make us feel more complete. Krishna is self-sufficient. He never goes outside of himself to fulfill his desires. But we always, daily, take a risk in going outside of ourselves because we're needy. Even the most powerful person in the material world is needy by the arrangement of material nature. Just like Hiranyakashipu, he was the terror of the universe, the terrorist chief of the universe. But he was needy. I want to be immortal. So he devised a way that he thought he would trick Lord Brahma into giving him immortality. In other words, Hiranyakashipu was afraid of death. So Krishna is perfect and complete, Om Purnam. He never goes outside of himself to fulfill his desires. As I often explain, he has the quality of Suraja Lakshmi. This is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita when Lord Chaitanya is talking to Sanatana Goswami. In that section of Chaitanya Charitamrita called Sanatana Siksha, the teachings to Sanatana. How many here are reading or have read Chaitanya Charitamrita? Raise your hand. One over there. 2, 3, 4. Oh, you have so much to look forward to. First you have to read Bhagavatam. How many have read Bhagavatam? Raise your hand. Little more. Whole Bhagavatam, yes? A little more. But then you should reach for the postgraduate study, Chaitanya Charitamrita. First of all, have it in your home. And then read it. So, Swaraja Lakshmi means Krishna has unlimited desires. And he has the unlimited capacity to satisfy all of his unlimited desires. That's Swaraja Lakshmi. And how are we doing trying to satisfy one material desire? We have to work so hard to do that, and we get no lasting satisfaction. Krishna has unlimited desires. We can't conceive of that. And the unlimited ability to satisfy all of his unlimited desires. So you're seeing that in this chapter, Lord Krishna's daily activities. After he does his morning ablutions, what's he going to do? It's time for meditation. He meditates on himself. Because Krishna is Krishna himself. Who else is he going to meditate on? But that doesn't mean you should meditate on yourself. When you read this section in Krishna book, Prabhupada takes quite some time explaining, don't think that you are the supreme and meditate on yourself because Krishna is meditating on himself. There's quite a difference between you and Krishna. So, who else is Krishna going to meditate on? As he says in Bhagavad Gita, Mata pratarandanya kinchit asti dhananjaya. There's no truth, no existence, no one superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. That means even Vishnu, even Narayan, even the personal Brahman, they all rest upon Swami Bhagavan Krishna. Some ladies, young ladies were asking me about bringing their school friends to the temple, and the school friends are all saying, isn't Krishna an avatar of Vishnu or Narayan? So I told these young ladies, you explain to them what Srimad Bhagavatam says. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. All the incarnations and expansions proceed from Krishna. But I said, don't make a big thing out of it. Just invite them to keep coming to the temple. Yes, Krishna is Narayan. Yes, Krishna is Vishnu. But as Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, calling Krishna Vishnu or Narayan does not really magnify or add to his glories. But you're not wrong. Krishna is Vishnu, Krishna is Narayan. So you could say it's a technical point, but then again it's a crucial point, because Swayam Bhagavan Krishna is the origin of everything, even Narayan and Vishnu. But it's not an offense for them to say, oh, isn't Krishna Narayan? It's true, Krishna is Narayan, but he's the origin of Narayan. So sometimes there are these controversies, especially in India. Not everyone is precise about Shastra. Not everyone reads Shastra, as you know. But here, in Prabhupada's ISKCON, we are very precise, because the more precise you are in your understanding, the better your love can be. The better the absorption in Krishna, the bhava leading to prema. So Krishna meditates on himself. And what do we do when we wake up? We chant Hare Krishna. That chanting of Hare Krishna is the same as meditating on Radha Krishna. So these are Lord Krishna's daily activities before he goes to the Sudharma assembly hall. He has his morning program. His activities look human-like, the Nara Leela, the human-like Leelas. But you'll always see Krishna doing something inconceivable, showing he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And just by his waking up in 16,108 palaces, shows you cannot imitate Krishna. You can follow his morning strictness, but you can't imitate him. And finally, he's decorating himself, even though he himself is the ornament. This is explained by Uddhava in the 3rd canto, that Krishna is the ornament of his ornaments. Just like when you sing the Damodarastic prayers, Lasa Kundalam Gokule Brajamana. How the earrings on Krishna's cheeks, on his ears, they swing to and fro, touching his cheeks like they're kissing his cheeks. Something that only Mother Yashoda can do, besides someone very confidential. So, the ornaments that Krishna wears are beautified by being on Krishna. We've explained this before, I'm sure you've heard it. We can ask the ladies, how many of you put on ornaments, earrings, to make the ornaments look beautiful. No, you put on ornaments. You have earrings? No? No earrings?
Yes, we have here.
Why? But Krishna puts on ornaments to make the ornaments look beautiful. You understand? So there are so many differences between Krishna's parts and Krishna, the complete whole. But then there's qualitative equality. All right, any questions? Yes.
Really amazing class. My question is about the 25-kilo bag of mustard seeds and losing one out of it. But and that if one got lost, then Krishna wouldn't really be all that bothered because he's got a lot of other mustard seeds. And even if the whole material world disappeared, then
The whole material existence disappears. It's nothing.
But on this little planet and in Adelaide, there's loads of people and huge crowds of people with families who love each other and lots of animals and dogs and cats and cows and there's a whole loving existence of people.
Oh, one of existence?
Temporary, but they're all going to come to the temple and get prasad and then go back to
You're going to arrange for that?
But how can you just make them all pop and never gone?
They go back to Godhead.
Haribo.
That was Vasudeva Dutt's
Oh, thank you.
desire. Not that they just disappear into the void. You're not a Buddhist, are you? There's actually no void. It's just imaginary.
Oh, they go back to Godhead.
That's right. That's what Vasudeva Dutt wanted.
Okay.
And he would take their sinful reactions and stay in the material world and suffer. You got it now?
I'll read it.
Okay. We're not voidists. Like everyone just, all the living entities disappear and that's it. No, they go to Krishna.
Well, then he would be very pleased if one mustard seed fell out of the big bag. Krishna would be very happy.
But the living entities have their desires. And the whole purpose of the material world is to fulfill our mistaken desires. That's why we're here. Because there can't be love without choice. Krishna's not going to force you to love him. It's not that Krishna's going to say with a gun to your head, come to the spiritual world, or... There has to be an opportunity to choose, and that's what makes the love stronger. And Krishna knows how to get the best love. You don't want forced love, do you? But Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. He doesn't want forced love. He wants your spontaneous attraction because he's so beautiful. He doesn't want that, oh, I have to love Krishna. I have to serve Krishna. Who wants that kind of relationship? Back in your day, did you want that kind? Yes.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, as you were mentioning that in the scope of the universe, we're just one mustard seed. But then,
This universe is just one mustard seed.
yes, one mustard seed. But when I have a problem, when I have an issue, I make it greater than bags and bags of mustard seeds, like it's humongous. Why do I always have this difficulty in understanding that my problem is not that big?
Because our desires for satisfaction are very big. How can the material world do this to me? How can my body do this to me? My body and this world are meant for my enhancement, my fulfillment. We have that big in our consciousness. And the more we are attached to the material body and material existence, the more we suffer. Therefore, Lord Rishabdev told his sons, his 100 sons, Nasaru Manye, I don't think it's very intelligent to become implicated in the process of the quest for material satisfaction. Asannapi kleshita ashadeya. You get a material body after material body after material body, which all give you misery. But you may notice we have this keen vision to want to see happiness and fulfillment in the material world. That's what's in front of our eyes. I'm going to get it, maybe not today, but tomorrow. I see the opportunities, I see the potential. It's out there waiting for me. We hallucinate in this way. And therefore, because we're hallucinating that we are the controller and enjoyer, material nature says, take this problem, take that problem, get hit with this, get hit with that. Mr. Big Stuff. Yes.
We're not supposed to ask anything from Krishna.
Yes, you can ask Krishna, engage me in service as you like. We're not voidists. You know what a voidist is? Shunyavadi. They think the ultimate goal of spiritual life is to become zero. Nothing. No self, no desires, no relationships, nothing. And then there's peace, they think. But go ahead.
We're not supposed to ask anything from Krishna at an advanced stage. And yet, Gurudev, you explained that Krishna fulfills your desire.
The desires of his pure devotees to love him in a certain way. That freedom is there. To love Krishna as a cowherd boyfriend, to love Krishna as one of his gopis, to love Krishna as his child, as your child. That's freedom. A devotee prays to Krishna. That's why you sing the Shikshashtaka prayers every morning. Do you pay attention to what you're saying? Huh? When you chant Hare Krishna, what are you asking for? Yes. And a pure devotee says, Krishna, please engage with your service as you like. That gives pleasure to Krishna, even though Krishna doesn't have any needs, but he knows this is the best for us to have that kind of consciousness. What if you said to your parents, let me serve at home as you like? How do you think your parents would feel? Huh? Yes. So Krishna is the supreme parent. Yes.
All right. In the community of devotees, when we have misunderstandings, and you know, can you go up to Krishna and ask Krishna, can you take the devotee out because he's giving me a hard time?
Take him out means
take him back to Godhead.
No, we go before Krishna and say, somehow or other, although it seems so obvious that this devotee is harassing me, I have caused it in some way. So please take out my material consciousness. It's not easy all the time, but that's the best way to make spiritual advancement. Even though he or she treated me like this, I must have influenced the situation in some way with bad consciousness. So you take responsibility for yourself. Of course, in management, you have to point out various inconsistencies, faults, so on and so forth. But that's the austerity of being a manager, as Abhiram Prabhu will find out. Correcting others, pointing out faults, correcting managemental snafus and inconsistencies is a real austerity. Others will think, who do you think you are? Pure devotee? So what if I crash the temple car? We're all Vaishnavas, Prabhu. Yes, to correct others is a great austerity. We should be very careful about doing that. Not be so eager to do that to show our superiority. So, the best course of action when there's some problem with the devotee, and we all go through that, as I was explaining to Abhiram Prabhu yesterday, there'll always be at least one person who can understand the service you're doing and think the opposite of your motivations, your intention. There's always going to be one person. That's the nature of Kali Yuga. What is this Abhiram doing? Who's in his ear? I think it's time he's got to go. Time for a coup. He's been in office for 6 months. Time for a coup.
Oh my God.
But if you come before the deities, and even though it's obvious to any ordinary vision that the other person is causing the problem, still you take some responsibility. I must have influenced that person unconsciously to respond in such a way. So then you pray to the deities for your own purification. And yes, the natural tendency is to want revenge. Ah, one day you'll get yours. It's coming to you. That's the human response, but it's not the devotee response. And to check that takes sense control. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the example of a fire and putting gold into the fire. The fire is the controlling of the senses, resisting the urge for revenge and retribution. That's the fire of sense control. You put the gold in the fire of sense control, and the gold comes out even more purified. So those situations bring out the impurities from you and help to purify your consciousness. It takes some effort, because the natural tendency is, you kicked me unnecessarily, I'm going to get back at you. You defame me. Everyone knows my glories except you. That's a natural tendency. So part of sense control is not simply controlling lust or greed, it's also controlling anger. And anger is actually harder to control than the others. Because when someone's treated you wrong, you know it. There's no doubt about it. We gotta do something about you. You crossed me. And especially devotees, they get very bent out of shape, as they say. Because I was being sincere, and then someone responded in this way. How can they do that? Oh, Krishna, how could you let this happen to me? I was being sincere. Everyone, well, not everyone, but almost everyone knows it. But you'll see that, in one sense, being sincere is not enough. Because not everyone can see your sincerity, because this is Kali Yuga. Social relationships are tinged with all kinds of dissonance, lack of synchronization, disagreement. So these are some of the austerities we take up on behalf of Srila Prabhupada's mission, rather than everyone just go in separate directions. There are two things that Prabhupada was allergic to, especially. One was Mayavadis, the other was fracturing Lord Chaitanya's mission. So we all undergo misunderstandings, devaluations, misperceptions, and the usual tendency, like in India, I'll start my own mouth. I'll be a big fish in a small pond. That's the tendency. No one can tell me what to do. I'll have my own mission. But Prabhupada was allergic to that. He wanted ISKCON to stay together through the storms, through the misunderstandings, through the disagreements. So we try to do that. And here in Adelaide, you should try to do that also.
How to let go when you don't feel like letting go?
You beg the deities, I want to let go, please help. I'm helpless, please help me. That's what the deities are there for. You think they're just there, you bring a few grains of rice for them, or bring a few flower petals? They're there for you to beg for their help in your spiritual progress, in your devotional service. Last question. Yes.
One question is, when you were speaking about Ranjidev, his desire was to accept prasad and have water after 48 days of fasting. But somehow or other, by Krishna's grace, everything was given away. But by his compassion, he gave it away. On the other spectrum, if you see Sudama, he came to see Krishna and Dwaraka. He didn't have anything. He didn't desire for anything, but he got all the wealth. So how do we understand when we desire service or anything from Krishna, whether he's going to give or take it away from us?
You want to calculate in advance. The nature of real love is you can't calculate. Krishna knows how to best deal with everyone, and everyone's not the same. Krishna is a supreme lover. He knows how to give everyone the best. What was Sudama's reaction as he's walking back from Dwarka to what he thought would be his shack of poverty? What was he thinking? No one remembers. He was thinking, how wonderful it is that Krishna gave me nothing.
No.
Because he knows if he had given me some material opulence, I would have fallen down. He's so kind, he gave me nothing. What do you think about that? All right, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Kirtan Adelaide. Leave a like and subscribe.